Hi, my name is Sophie Summers, and as always, welcome to the Crossdressing Lifestyle channel. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing these 360 silicone hip and bottom pads. Now, normally when I dress to achieve that very desirable figure 8 shape, I use a combination of silicone hip pads and a pair of pants that have inserts, foam inserts in the cheeks to give me a little bit of a more rounded derriere. Now, whilst that is incredibly effective, sometimes it gets a little bit warm, and I'm always keeping an eye out to find a simpler and more effective way of creating that shape. That's why I'm very interested today to review these silicone pads. So let's take a little look and see what they actually look like in real life. Okay, the first thing that strikes me about these is their shape, or their general shape. They actually, to me, look like a very large kidney bean. Now, I can see from their general shape here that one side represents where it's supposed to go against the hip to give you that extra hippie sort of area here. And as I bend it around, you can see that the second part here, which is slightly smaller, is intended to tuck around your bottom. Now, the edges on this, which are very important because they contribute to a nice blended in shape, are very, very thin. So that's quite a nice thing. I don't mind the colour. It's a very, very light colour because after all, at the end of the day, it's going to be underneath your garments and you're not going to actually see the colouring. One thing that is of interest to me is how they adhere, and these come with a protected cover to them. It's protecting the very sticky surface here, which is supposed to attach freely and easily to your skin, which I'm assuming you must actually get rid of all the surface oil from your skin first to give it the maximum adhesion. Now, obviously it comes in a pair. There are two of them. They look a little bit fiddly, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop on these two here and see what they actually look like when they're on. So if you bear with me a second, I'm just going to go off camera to do that. So I'm going to start this review by doing a comparison with what I currently use, which is a combination of individual silicone hip pads, such as these ones here, combined with a pair of normal panties with pockets in, and in those pockets I normally put either foam or these little silicone wafers to give me a little bit more shape around the derriere. Now, as you can see here, I've got quite a good hip to waist ratio. I'm wearing the long pads here, so they pad out this area quite well. One of the downsides of this particular arrangement is that you can actually see the tails here if you're wearing something very, very short. So it's not actually ideal if you are wearing a very short sort of skirt. But on the whole, I think the effect is quite good. It gives you a very good feel. Now let's compare these with the 360 hip and thigh bottom pads. So there is the 360s actually in position. What do you think? Now, I must admit there were a few challenges when I first put them on in terms of jockeying them around and finding exactly where they're supposed to go to give you the best shape. And whilst I was doing that, I found that the gluey substance on the back was actually losing its adhesion quite quickly. Now, when I first took the protective covering off the back, I thought, wow, this stuff is really, really sticky. But after a couple of attempts of moving it around and trying to position it, I found that they were actually slowly peeling off. And so I had to very quickly rush on a pair of tights to retain it in position. So I think in general, if you wear these a couple of times, you've really got to consider something to give you a little bit more extra support around here and give you the confidence in wearing these and that they don't slip into out of position. But in saying that, there are quite a few nice little things about them. First of all, they're quite, say, light and breezy to wear. They're not very hot at all. I love the volume that I'm getting around this particular section in here. It gives me quite a lot of bump, which gives me quite a good rounded derriere feature. Also, what I like about them is because of the compact design, if you're somebody who likes to wear very short skirts, you're not going to have those little tails, those long tails showing. So I think that's quite a nice little thing. In general, I think it gives a good relationship between the waist here and the hips, not over the top, but also enough to make sure it's noticed. So that's my initial thoughts on the 360. I hope you like it. So, what are my final thoughts on the comparison between the traditional sort of hip and thigh pads combination and these 360s? Well, let's be honest, it all comes down to cost at the end of the day. Now, there isn't much of a difference when I compare one with the other. The 360s seem to be coming in around about £250 to £270 for the pair, which is not to be sniffed at. However, the single pads themselves are over £200 a pair. So by the time you put in a pair of extra panties with the silicone inserts or the foam in them, there's not a great deal of difference. So I think it's going to come down to your personal preferences. I like the feature of the 360s where they're so tight and compact. It means that you can wear those summer short skirts, should you wish, with confidence, knowing that you haven't got that telltale little bit here potentially showing. So I think that is a bonus for them. However, I would say with the longer version, single ones here, I do like the actual full length on these because they give me a much longer hippie sort of shape. So whatever's the preference for you will make your final decision, I'm sure. Now, I hope you found that review interesting and of assistance to you. If you have, please give us a good old thumbs up. If you've not already subscribed to the channel, please considering doing so. We would truly appreciate it. And here's a little tiny little heads up. Our next video is all about 5 very lush ladies, and I know you're going to enjoy that one. So all that really remains for me to say at this particular point is, as always, thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, stay gorgeous, and until the next time, bye bye.